My name is Cyrus Jansen, and in this video we're going to be breaking down LeBron James' comments about China and why this is not a free speech issue at all. Alright everybody, well, as you all know, in the last couple of weeks there has been a huge controversy with the NBA. It all started when the Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey sent out a tweet basically, in favor of Hong Kong. He simply said, that he supports the Hong Kong protesters and that he stands for democracy. And as a result of this created a tremendous amount of backfire in China. Now, the Houston Rockets obviously have a connection with Yao Ming and with China. They are by far one of the most popular teams in the NBA in China. And what a lot of people don't realize is it has a huge presence in China. Actually, currently almost 20% of the NBA's annual revenues come directly from China. Outside the United States, it's by far its biggest market. So for someone of Daryl Morey's position to be the general manager of China's most popular basketball team in the NBA, the Houston Rockets, to say something like that, to me, is just really beyond belief. I mean, I can't believe that he would be so culturally insensitive to the topic at hand. Now, again, this has nothing to do with freedom of speech, because as an American, and I myself also am an American, we always have the freedom of speech. We can say whatever we want to say. But I think that LeBron James said the most brilliant reply. And if you haven't seen it, let's watch that video right now.
About this freedom of speech, yes, we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you're only thinking about yourself. So just be careful what we tweet and we say and what we do. Even though yes, we do have freedom of speech, but there can be a lot of negative that comes with it.
LeBron James simply just makes a true statement here. He says we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications. So what you have to realize here that it's not China controlling America's free speech. Okay, China doesn't control us at all. We are in America. We can say and do whatever we want to do. However, if you're trying to do business with China, you have to realize that certain things you say are going to be culturally insensitive. They're not stopping you from saying it. You can certainly go out on a limb and say, you know what, I support Hong Kong. I don't like the Communist Party. You have the right to say that, but you can't expect to say that and then say, oh, by the way, I'd still like to do business with all of these Chinese companies and I'd still like to have revenue. So that's where my biggest issue is. And I think LeBron James has done nothing wrong. All these comments of LeBron James is selling out and he's bowing down to the Communist Party of China. He's selling out for the almighty dollar. All of this is nonsense. LeBron James is a very smart person. I have a tremendous amount of respect for what he does on and off the basketball court. And this is why it's such a brilliant reply. LeBron James waited almost a full week before he responded to this situation. Okay, he thought meticulously on the best way to respond, and he simply said, look, we have freedom of speech, but there is ramifications. Let's give you another example. Let's imagine that you say, you know what, in India is one of the largest differences between the rich and the poor. So what we're going to do is, to help the poor people out in India, maybe they don't have enough food. Let's go ahead and go to India, and we're going to start a Eat Beef campaign. Okay, because there's lots of cows in India. Let's go ahead and start this Eat Beef campaign. Now you have the freedom of speech to say that, but you also need to realize that eating beef in India is culturally not popular because a cow is a sacred animal in India, and if you go there and exercise your free speech, you're not going to have very much success there. It's as simple as that. You need to be culturally aware of doing that. If you went to Germany and started saying anti-Semitic comments and saying all of these things, do you think German companies are going to want to be associated with you? Of course not. So you have the freedom of speech to do that. Just don't expect to go there and do business. So in my opinion, this is what Daryl Morey should have done. If he wanted to support Hong Kong, which by the way, he has every right to do as an American citizen, then what he should have done is he should have resigned from the Houston Rockets as general manager, because obviously he doesn't want to have to do any business with China. People say, I don't like the Communist Party. Well, then guess what? Resign from your position as the general manager of the Houston Rockets. Okay? Say, I don't need your China money, and then go ahead and go on your campaign and start advocating like Ted Cruz and these other guys that are going to Hong Kong and really going out on a limb for the Hong Kong people. Okay? I myself, I don't believe in the Hong Kong protest. I lived in China for 10 years. I have a very different perspective of what China is and what's happening in Hong Kong. I 100% am against the protests in Hong Kong. But I have no problem with people saying that they are for the protest because it is a right of freedom of speech. But this issue really ticks me off because the reality is LeBron James has done nothing wrong. He is simply stating an obvious fact that everyone has freedom of speech. However, there are ramifications. And if you cannot understand that basic principle, then I'm sorry, you just don't understand how to do business around the world. And that's the fact. So thanks for listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we shared some light on actually what's happening. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how the NBA is going to respond, how this basketball season is going to go over in China. Again, China is a huge market for the NBA. I hope they do work it out. You know, it would be better if the NBA can work together with China and certainly grow that market. There's a lot of future potential in China. So anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already, subscribe and certainly leave me a comment down in the description below. I'm Cyrus Jansen, and we'll see you in the next video.